Hey, welcome to the Chattervast Podcast. This is a low production video today. I didn't have as much time because I'm working on several other videos for this channel. Tomorrow I'll be going out and recording with a friend that one that I've been talking about for a while, his choice to vote for Biden. We're going to sit down and have a discussion about that, so that should be fun, and you should see that out next week. I'm also working on a short, sort of animated video, I guess, to some degree. So that'll be out hopefully next week as well. And I am putting out a couple shorts today regarding the XRP Spark token drop. If you haven't heard about that, that's a cryptocurrency space thing. If you're not involved with that, then you can completely disregard it, but it is interesting nonetheless. Going forward, it will affect technology in the cryptocurrency space as well as other technology outside of blockchain and cryptocurrency. It will affect banking, payment, and solutions going forward in the future. I think it'll be useful technology, what they're coming up with there. So a couple things that I just want to hit today about some things. You're going to see, obviously, in the news, there's a lot about California and its new lockdowns. We're going into a new lockdown period as there's another wave of COVID, and that's obviously all of the news. You've heard all of that. But what is another interesting piece of that is the discussion among those in the government regarding stimulus checks and the care packages. But it does look like that even if they are going to do another stimulus bill, it's unlikely there would actually be stimulus checks as part of it. So, or at least by the end of the year, that's most likely not the situation. It doesn't seem like they're discussing that aspect, but more of relief to other parts of society. And then also another update on my reactor research. So where we came in the process, I've been doing little short videos and discussing the possibility of producing power at home, and initially looked into uranium reactors, which is a heavily involved process to make your own uranium or get legal jurisdiction to have that kind of stuff at home. And then looked at fusers is one that was recommended to me by several people in the shorts videos. But regarding fusers, that's just fusion technology. That's a possible source of energy in the future, but it's not anywhere near what, I want something that's actually practical and viable right now. But I think it would be a fun project to do. But it costs a lot of money, I think, to get involved in, or at least all the parts and understanding the science. It would be a good experiment to understand how parts in a reactor work together. And so it would be something worth doing. But one other thing that I've looked into and more recently has come into the news over the past couple of years was americium, which is used in your smoke detectors. At the amounts that's in your smoke detectors, it would take 5,000 smoke detectors to make 1 gram of americium. So it would take a lot of smoke detectors to get the amount that you need to actually put in a small reactor. But you can also go buy it for several $100s. But in the UK at the University of Leicester and with another organization in the UK, they're actually able to produce. So I had talked about this, or we are talking about it at some point in Escape News podcast, which you can check out. And we talked a little bit about power in the past, and we've talked about it in some upcoming episodes about this incident there. And so it does seem like they've tried multiple times to generate power and then power a light bulb. And initially they were just simulating using heat that americium would give off. But it was in May 2019. It does seem that they actually connected in a shielded environment at a laboratory. The university students and those who are working on this did power a light bulb. So it does seem that you can use smaller radioactive elements or something that's more common like americium, even though americium is not necessarily common itself. So uranium is pretty ubiquitous, and you don't necessarily have to refine it entirely to get it running in a reactor. Americium is actually a byproduct of plutonium when it's used or processed. I don't really understand everything going on there, but it is a byproduct of that. So it's not like a naturally occurring element, but we create enough of it to put it in all of our smoke detectors for at least a while. So at least it's still available. It does look like you can buy it on Russian websites or something like that, which is a little too shady for me to look at doing. But it does just answer some of the questions that I had about looking at alternatives and rather than just the standard wind, solar, hydro stuff that is very common nowadays, especially regarding wind and solar being ones that people put, and solar being more the one that people put in their own homes or put on their homes to generate power. So I'm just looking at some of these options out there, and maybe test some someday in the future if I had money to do so. But I think it's really interesting to look into the research. If you checked out on the Escape News podcast, we talked about the Generation 4 nuclear reactors, possibilities for technology being smaller scale and more local in neighborhoods, which it does seem like at one point in the U.S. history, that's where we were headed, until some government or organization decided, the energy cartel decided that was not good for them, so they've made it too dangerous for people to handle, and thus outside of the reach of just you and I. But maybe that'll come back around someday in the future as we move more towards an electricity-based society rather than a fossil fuel-based society over in the futures. So those are just some of the updates that I had regarding channel updates, and also some of the things that I've been looking at. So I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys later.